Hi, I'm Carl Oshinsky. You know, I'm here with my friends. I have Tony and Mary Lou. And you know, Tony and Mary Lou are going to keep me honest. I'm really not good at measuring things, but they're going to act like you at home, and they're going to keep me honest. We're going to do something called focaccia, which is like a flatbread. We have pasta to do, fettuccine Alfredo, and you'll see that we're going to be doing calzone. We're going to do wonderful chicken and walnut pizza, and on and on and on. So we're going to get started. We're going to show everybody the basic things for dough making. And I know a lot of you at home have made dough. It hasn't risen. We're going to show you how right now. The only measurement we're really going to use is we're going to measure the water. We're not going to measure the flour. You only can put so much flour into so much water. So we have our water in the machine. We're going to add our yeast. And we're doing a simple little technique now called proofing. So all we're doing is we're making sure that this yeast is alive and living here. We're going to add our flour. And to make really good pizza dough, you need to take your time. You don't need to put in all your flour, all your water, and hope to God it's right. So we're going to take our time now. And at this point, we've proofed this yeast. We've added the flour to it. We've added the yeast, and it should have some characteristics right now. First of all, it should look like a swamp. It should be frothy. It should stink. If you don't see any of those ingredients right now, you're in a lot of trouble. So at this point, I can see bubbles. There's like little frogs floating around in there. Put in a little bit of salt, and salt's something you have to watch. Okay, we're going to put our oil in now. And basically, we have this all set right now, and we're going to start to add our flour. And basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this to act like a tennis ball, just rolling around in the machine. There it goes. See it, Tony? It's starting. Still a little bit wet on me, so put a little more flour. See it? Moving away from the side of the bowl. A little bit more. And I'm going to check it now, see if I can get my hands into it. Just a little bit wet still.
Carl, about how much water did you originally put in there?
We used about a cup. I think that you should learn to measure your water only and then learn when to stop. A lot of you at home have been kneading wrong. You've been doing this kind of motion. It's wrong. You should really work in a pattern, bringing the corner to the center and pushing. Now this is all done already. When you push on this dough and it pushes back on you, it's finished. See? And now we're gonna put it up to rest. We're gonna let it rise. We're gonna come in with a nice big bowl, a little bit of flour, coat it, turn it in the bowl. We're all set. Now, one of the secrets that I have to very good pizza dough is always to use dough 4 or 5 hours old. And I know it's really a problem letting dough rise that long, but really a nice little secret that I do all the time is that I make my dough in the morning, I go brush my teeth, I do my hair, I put my dough in a garbage bag, and when I come out of the bathroom and I'm leaving for work, I kick the bag twice, and it falls in, and it can sit all day long in a bag like that and rise. The reason that we do not use pizza dough that is very fresh is that it's very rich in carbohydrates and sugars, and baking it on a very hot oven stone tends to burn the bottom. So by letting dough mature and get 4 or 5 hours old, you've killed the carbohydrates, and it's relaxed, it's dead. It's going to stay low and chewy like a bagel.
Can you leave it longer or freeze it or anything?
No, freezing. I'm going to answer only one freezing question today. The only reason you freeze anything is so you can throw it out 3 months down the road. So freezing you don't want to do. If you have to freeze dough, the point to freeze it is before it's risen. Right now. This is when you freeze it. And then when it comes out of the freezer, then you let it go through its rising. Okay? I'm going to show you, we're going to get started. We're going to do something called focaccia, which is like a flatbread. And I'm going to just roll one out so we can get something in the oven right now. And every piece of dough that you're going to see me handle is weighed. Everything. This is 19 ounces of dough. And we're just stretching it.
I wish I had the courage to try something like
Always
that.
on the ceiling when I do it.
Throwing it is just being showy. We're going square. Okay, so we have our dough rolled out, and this is a pizza screen. Well, it's more or less like training wheels. It's a good device for carrying it to the oven with. And this focaccia just has garlic and butter. And we have roasted garlic here that we've roasted in the oven. And we can do a couple cute little things on this just to give it a little bit of flavor. These are some peppers. And these are some little sun-dried tomatoes. Okay, so we're all ready with this. And this is going to be our focaccia. It's a very nice little crust that you can eat. It'll be good with the fettuccine. Okay, we're just going to head right towards the oven with this. Place it right on top this oven stone, which is at 500 degrees, and just let it go, probably for about 5 or 6 minutes. Okay, we're going to get into fettuccine alfredo. We're going to start the pasta, and we're going to be doing pasta in a few different techniques, but we're going to show you doing it with the Cuisinart. We're going to drop our eggs in, and our eggs are the true measurement about how much pasta we're going to make. For 6 eggs, it would go 25 people as an appetizer. 4 eggs would probably go about 12 people. So we're going to use 4. We have at least 12 people here. I'm just going to get these going and add my salt and add my oil. And we're all set.
Olive oil or?
Olive oil. Mm-hmm. Again, we're going to take our time with this and not really force it. This is how fast you can do pasta. Again, the exact measurement is with the liquid of the eggs. That's your exact measurement. And then you're going to have to learn to stop. Again, we're going to start kneading this pasta like we did with the bread dough. It's a little bit sticky yet, so.
Same method of from the corners out and
to
in.
the center.
What does that accomplish? Is it trying to get...
Well, we're kneading it. No, we're kneading it. We're trying to get it tight. Okay, we're going to check on this focaccia. Whoa, it looks beautiful.
What a neat way to get something out. Oh.
Just slide it right over on this cooling rack. It's all set. Okay, we're going to start running this pasta through the first setting on the machine. And this is important, the first fold. Push down, push the air out, and we're all set. Here we go. Okay, now this is our last run through the machine at the finest setting at 7. And every machine is different. Now it tests to good fresh pasta, and if you cannot see your hand through this,
My goodness.
it's not good fresh pasta. But there's a point now where it has to dry a little bit, and if you run this, and I've seen a lot of people run this right through the cutter wet like this, and it's a total mistake because it gums up and never successful. Now we'll start with a piece of paper towel here, and we'll just send it down to the end, and here we go with our pasta. This is going to dry maybe about 10 minutes, just till it feels almost like a little bit like a cardboard. Drop a cardboard like.
You see the hanging rack sometimes. Is that just a different school of thought, or
Well,
for there's after the cut pasta?
I don't use a rack. I'll tell you, let me just be very honest with you. When you're making delicate pasta like this, which is paper thin, the more you handle it, you ruin it. Because it breaks like a bag of potato chips. It breaks down to nothing. So the less you can handle this pasta, the better you are. Okay? We're all set. We got our pasta laying out here to dry, and we're going to mount our cutter in the machine. Okay, now we're going to come over and check this pasta. Feel it now? Feel how it feels dry? It's all ready to run back through the cutter. I think somebody could eat one slice or one strip like this would be like a small appetizer portion. See how nice it cuts? And it's not all gummy. Now, if you want to save this, Tony, and say next week you want to do pasta, just lay it out, let it dry thoroughly. You have to let it dry. If you don't let it dry, it gets moldy in the bag and it's gone. Once you let it dry, it'll sit for months.
So they would dry actually just like egg noodles you would buy in the store? In a plastic
Exactly.
bag?
But you have to make sure this dries, otherwise you ruin it. It'll come back, be all green on you, and it's gone.
Lost.
A lot of people make their own pasta at home because they feel like they're taking the time and they're making it better. Well, you know, I kind of like to think we make homemade pasta in a factory because we take more time to do it and we feel like we get a better pasta for it. The pasta we make here is out of 100% semolina and water, and then we extrude the water out of it so you have semolina left. The semolina and water is going in at one end, and it's a continuous process, so we're always making more and more dough. We don't use eggs to hold it together because the machinery is under such a pressure that it forces it together through dyes and whatnot. You know, I mean, pasta industry has changed quite a bit over the years. We still do it what we consider the old-fashioned way. We do a lot of things by hand and take a lot of time.
We're going to get our water going here, and on top of our water, we're going to place a nice Italian bowl. Okay, we're going to get ready and start our Alfredo sauce. We're adding the butter right to the bowl. The hot water is going to melt the butter. We're going to use a little bit of white pepper and a little nutmeg. It gives it the unusual flavor. And we're also going to add the heavy cream, but we're just going to wait a few minutes. And we're going to start here with this calzone. Tony, calzone is a Neapolitan, and the shape is derived from the balloon, the Neapolitan balloon pant leg. It means stuffed pant leg, the word calzone. So we're going to start with our piece of dough.
And this is the dough that you have measured out.
Right, this is, well, we're going to be cutting little teeny circles out of this. Let's just set the dough and get the stuffing going first, and we're going to show all the ingredients here. We have ricotta in this bowl, and we're using mushrooms, parsley, and we'll start with our cheeses, which we're going to have mozzarella, and we're using bel paese, which is a real pretty Italian, and we're using gorgonzola, which is a blue. We're just going to crumble it in. We're going to be using this broccoli and just use the heads off it, the flour off of it, and you'll see that we're going to be doing calzone again at another time using other stuffings. And this is the secret ingredients right here. This is a whole can of Italian-style tomatoes, which I've squeezed. This is a whole can. Now, I call this my smushing technique. And there's really no other way to do it. A little Romano. You can get away with maybe one wet ingredient in this bowl, but if you get lazy and the broccoli is wet and the mushrooms are wet, you have nothing but a mess. And this is what you want to come to. You want to come to like a cheese ball effect. I'm going to show you in a minute. See? That's where I'm at. Nice and dry. So there's our stuffing for our calzone. In a minute I'm going to start rolling out the dough. And my rolling pin, without that I don't know what I would do.
That is the most impressive looking rolling.
That's my big one.
Sure is.
This is a cute little thing. I once did a party at an Armenian old folks home, and none of the ladies spoke English, but they loved this top. It was the only thing that they enjoyed out of my whole demo.
Even Armenian old folks eat pizza, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, here we are now, and we're gonna make about 6 of these. And we're using a 4-inch biscuit cutter. And here's our calzone. And of course, you're going to see me overstuffing these. Well, if you just put little teeny meatballs on top of these, the cheese is going to melt down and there'll be nothing inside. So you really want to put quite a bit of stuffing on them. It's a good idea to try to get your hands clean here because this is a real important move here. Here's our first sealing. We're going to seal this actually 3 times. Now, this is my little secret technique, and I was taught this by Mrs. Richards, a good friend of mine in Michigan that does wallpaper work. This is my Mrs. Richards roller here. It's a wallpaper seam roller. And all I'm doing is rolling the edge down, putting enough flour on the board so it doesn't stick.
So this is the second sealing?
This is the second sealing, and now we're going to bring over a cookie sheet with parchment on it. This is a nice piece of parchment that's been added to this. And here's our third sealing.
You're tucking it over one more time.
I'm doing actually what I call a pinch and roll. Mm-hmm. I'm pinching and laying it over. This is our appetizer. It's wonderful. So we're all set. Do I still have 6? Oh, I got 7 now. I thought I said 6. Okay, now we have to vent them. Now we're just going to get these calzone, slip them right on top of the stone, and bake them. They're all set. Okay, we're getting all ready here. Our butter's going away here. It's melted. We're going to do the Alfredo sauce. We're not going to use a skillet and melt up everything and burn the butter and give it a burnt flavor. This is what we're going to add to our water is salt. No oil. No oil when you boil pasta. It coats the pasta and then the sauce won't stick to it. And we have butter, white pepper, some parsley leaves, our heavy cream.
It's a great idea, the bowl right on the pot.
Right on, and the bowl's
space.
hot and it helps. Our water is really going in here real good. We're going to start with our pasta. As soon as it comes back up in a few, 30, 40 seconds, we're all set. And we're going to put our colander in the sink. Our pasta's coming out of here.
It just doesn't seem like it could cook that fast.
Oh, Mary Lou, if you do not concentrate on your pasta and cook it and stand right with it, if you walk away, you've ruined it.
What happens? Does it toughen up?
No, it gets mush. This could steam clean your face. Okay, here we go. So you see it's getting nice and thick. We're going to add some Romano to it. And that's our Alfredo. We have to turn around and check these calzone, see where they're at. Okay. Now we're going to take them off of this parchment. And and just put them right onto our cooling rack. Okay, this is our premier pizza. This is our cheesy chicken with walnuts. And we have a chicken breast here, and we're gonna be deboning it. Just use your thumbs and get in and you're all set. Here's the bones. Pull the skin off.
Well, you certainly make that look easy.
It is easy. And we're starting our skillet with a little of garlic and oil. And here's some that I cubed already. And we're all set. Get these going in here. And you need to brown them. You really can't put raw chicken on top of a pizza. Just get it so the pink is off. And now we're going to be doing our mozzarella for this pizza. And you'll find out that this will bring it to a nice dice so you can move it across the pizza. Okay, now we have our pound piece of dough. We're going to flour this board. Use enough flour. Don't be afraid to use the flour.
Is the pound of dough a standard size for, say, 6 servings, 8, what? Or
I think it's for you to decide what your family enjoys, thick or thin. There's no difference between thick or thin. It's the amount of dough. So if you like a New York style thin pizza, then you should weigh your dough less. This is a pound, 19 ounces. Okay, we'll get it going. And what you're doing now is you're playing with this dough. You're getting it to stretch.
It doesn't look as though it would tear very easily.
Mary Lou, it's high gluten flour, and it has a lot of protein in it, a lot of stretching to it. And we're using a bread flour. We're not using all-purpose. Now this is all ready for us. We're going to get our pizza peel, put cornmeal on it. This is the little ball bearings that helps us slide it off. This cornmeal is great for dancing lessons in the kitchen. Once it gets all over the floor, people just come sliding right through. Okay, now here's our pizza. It's rolled out to the shape we want it. We're going to treat the dough with olive oil, which is going to act like a barrier, keep a lot of the stuff from soaking through. And we're going to put a base of mozzarella down. And now watch the mozzarella that I grated, and I diced. I didn't grate it or shred it. Look at. Wherever I want it, I can move it. Once you shred it, it gums up and it will not go across the pizza. Here's our chicken. Still cooking. Onions. And these are sauteed a little bit. I'm going to use some fresh onions here, or fresh mushrooms. And now I'm just playing with it. I'm kind of picking up the color, doing something interesting to it by adding some zucchini rings, and now the eggplant. And the eggplant I'm going to treat with a little garlic and oil, each eggplant, kind of to give it a little bit of oil to cook in.
And the veggies are all raw at this point?
Well, you know, I sauteed some are raw. I'm doing a variation here. This is only personal. The more I talk, the more I put on.
Keep talking.
And now the
That's
walnuts.
right. This will be a deluxe.
This is a little bel paese I'm using on here just to give it another little cheese. And this pizza is built already. It's getting to be a monster. And I have no problem dropping cheese on here. It's just going to kind of roll into everything. Okay, now at this point, this pizza has to move. Now, if you find it doesn't move on you, it's like blessing it. You go back, you find out where it's not moving, and you give it a little cornmeal. See it moving?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to move right to the oven with this pizza now. Slide it right onto our stone. We're going to reach back to the very back of the stone, give it a little jerk, come off with it. We're all set. And actually, what I did was, if you really can't see into that oven, I've really reached back to the very back of the stone, and I've given it this kind of motion. As soon as I gave it that first jerk, the pizza came off, hit the hot stone, and this paddle will come right out from underneath. This is wrong, sending it in. Once it hits the back of the oven, that's where half your pizza stays, right stuck to the back of the oven. And God forbid you miss the stone. It happens all the time. Don't panic. Just wait a few seconds, hit it with a knife or a wooden spoon. Just wait. It'll get a skin right on the bottom and it'll slide right over. Once you grab it while it's wet and pull it, you tore it. And once you tore it, you've lost it. If it doesn't come off this paddle, once you commit yourself to put it in, you get it off. You either push it off or you fold it over, you have a covered pizza, but it has to come off the paddle. Okay, we're going to check this pizza out. Boy, does it look nice. Slip the paddle underneath, pull it out. We're all set. Well, this is our premier pizza, our wonderful wine selection. We're going to go right around this pizza with a little bit of olive oil, soften the edge.
TV worth watching tonight, we have Nova and Goddess of the Earth. This old house starting a new project this evening that might turn out to be a moneymaker. There's a music special on Say Brother, and mystery has cause célèbre, a touch of scandal, a touch of murder. Nova's at 7. We'll see you then.